The astronauts arrived in Georgia this week, and everyone expected they'd stick the landing and make it to playoffs. Now they're looking to continue their moon mission against the invaders from outer space, otherwise known as the French. Spacestation Gaming and BDS Esports are set to take the stage for our third game of the day, and I've got the full NAL desk on tap with this one because we got to talk about the local boys. This is the first time we're seeing North America represented in Swiss. This one's going to be real good.
Absolutely, Jacob. We've got NA behind us. We've got Europe as well. BDS coming in for many people, the heavy favorites for this event. They looked very good throughout the offseason. They had a great stage 2 as well. Spacestation Gaming, a little bit more mixed results. They're going to be underdogs.
I mean, BDS, like you were saying, definitely a fan favorite for sure, and they came out of that Gamers 8 with a swift 3-0 over an American team, so now are they coming here again to prove a point to NA? Maybe, who knows, but let's talk about Spacestation 2. They had a rough start to the NAL stage, as we saw, but then they started to ramp up towards the end, secured their spot here, secured their play-ins to get to playoffs, so, I mean, I think we're going to have a doozy of a match.
Seems like everything for Space Station's going right, at least right now, and the same can't quite be said for DZ because they almost didn't make it here, but we did get both North American teams all the way through play-ins and now to this point. The difference here is that Space Station have already confirmed their SI attendance based on their performances this year, whereas BDS are still yet to do so. Indeed,
BDS, because they had such a poor stage 1, they're still hunting for that SI spot, right? And the way the math works out, they're really going for top 8. That's what's going to secure them in, very likely at the very least. It may require top 4, but unlikely. So for BDS, starting off with a win in Swiss stage is vital.
No, it's shocking to even see BDS all the way down there. That's not even where I thought they were placed at, given looking at the stats. I guess I might have overlooked them a little bit because I thought maybe they were already at the top. But no, so they have to get that top 8 finish if they really want to secure that SI spot and really prove to the world why they were the best team at Gamers 8 and then possibly the best team in the world in Rainbow Six specifically at the invite.
It's a bit of a tough opponent for them to go against too because this is a little bit of that old Astralis system coming in now on the Space Station team, right?
Indeed, and BDS, a rough history against Astralis coming through. This was the team that knocked out BDS at the last 6 Invitational. Now, obviously, Astralis into SSG, some roster moves have been made, but if you look back on that game that knocked BDS out of SI, a lot of the problems came on attack where they were kind of stalling out and Astralis would make these big, crazy plays, which would disrupt the tempo and would knock BDS off their game. SSG now play like that even more. They're so crazy on defense. They will go for swings. They will go for some frags. I think for BDS, though, they're in a bit of a better spot to defend against that, right? Coming back from that loss, obviously it was a big one. I'm sure they've learned from it. Yeah. And also the losses at SI were on Villa and Theme Park, 2 maps that are no longer in the pool. So I think for BDS, they're looking a lot better than maybe they had back in February at the 6th Invitational. And although they're going against some opponents which they may be familiar with, I think they're looking for a bit better result.
Yeah, so to kind of go against what you were saying, sure, they did get knocked out by the old Astralis. Obviously, there's some familiar faces here, not so familiar, but still great players nonetheless. But they did have the most recent win over a very aggressive NA team, with that being M80, and having that American-Brazilian playstyle adapted into how they play. Well, adopted into their play. So I do feel that they are in a better position in this case of having the experience of playing against aggression like that and really shutting it down, because they did get that 3-0 over M80. So it begs to question, are they going to be prepared for that aggression? And then if they aren't, also as SSG, also coming into play-ins, they're ramped up. They're ready.
Who's the highlight player on SSG that's going to stop BDS, though?
So I just want to talk about Hot and Cold specifically, because Hot and Cold kind of was quiet throughout the NAL stage, but when we've seen Hot and Cold pop off in recent teams or even on that team, he is a burning flame for that team with everyone else regardless on that roster. And if he can step into this LAN event and really step up and help his team excel past limits, and with all of the other 4 going off, I mean, this could be a really solid run for SSG.
We saw a bit of a shakeup in the attacking meta when Yana lost her nades, right? A lot of entry kind of aggressive players lost their main operator. Hot and Cold, not so much. This man loves his Nook. He has been redefining this operator. A lot of people gave up on her after a few nerfs. Hot and Cold stuck with Nook through and through, and she's still got nades. So Hot and Cold is going to be coming in on a relatively comfortable position. He loves to play these lurk roles. He loves to get in there and disrupt things with the grenades, with the silent step, right, getting through past those cameras. Hot and Cold's a very sneaky player, and if BDS aren't 100% pinning him down, he's going to punish.
And I'll say this, sometimes it's not always about the operator, it's about the player playing the operator, and Hot and Cold has definitely been defining Nook.
Same thing can be said for the other guys on Space Station too, because I look over and I just see a team full of vibes. I mean, I see a team full of buzz cuts and big muscles and what, self-professed most well-worked-out team in North America? Is that what I'm hearing, guys? So they very clearly understand the role that they're
They
playing
just said
here.
their max on bench was 155.
Is that what he
Ashton's
said?
doing push-ups
He's doing
right
push-ups right now. Good Lord. We can't get a camera on that. Oh, man, it's too bad.
He only did 4. Not impressed.
We saw him. We saw him. They're doing it. They'll get into a huddle as well. This is their pregame ritual.
Yeah, they are a vibes team undoubtedly, and I think you see that in their play too. People criticize Space Station because they are a little crazy. They do things like
you know what it
this.
sounds like? It sounds like heave ho, heave ho.
They're a little wild.
You love it.
My room is right next to their practice room, and they are that loud every night.
And they play just the same way in the server.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
so explosive. They will come out at you, and they will come very, very fast, very aggressively. But the thing they do is they're always together.
Yes.
They execute their playstyle so well as a unit, and I think that's what's most impressive and why it works.
You know what I really want to see specifically? I want to see Ashen come alive here.
Yeah.
That is what I want to see. And we're looking at the maps right now. You predicted it right. We talked about it.
I did.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, predicted Skyscraper. Both these teams, big fans of Sky for BDS, undefeated through the offseason and Stage 2, taking out Falcons and Riyadh, and then M&M in their qualifying game to Atlanta. Space Station Gaming, 4-0 Stage 2. They beat Oxygen, LG, Mirage, and Alpha Atheris. Some great teams in there, some mid-up teams in there, but either way, both these teams very comfortable on Skyscraper.
Any idea who takes it? I'm not going to be the one to say it. I can't, because I will not allow Jack's bingo to actually come true. Gentlemen, predictions real quick.
I got to stick with the favorites. I love Space Station, I love NA, but
Yeah?
BDS I think are the favorites to win the whole event, and I expect them to win this game.
So I can flip-flop, right? We flip-flop on the NAL stage.
You're accusing
Might
him
as
of
well
being a
flip-flop
flip-flopper
on
right
the
now. You're
major
going to
stage.
do it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Why not?
Okay,
I can.
dude.
I'm able to. I'm going to go with Space Station here, just to get a little of that camaraderie, just so I can rub it in Jesse's face again and, you know, be another up a point in the terms of guessing who wins, who loses. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Space Station.
BDS, Space Station. I'm not saying the line. I'm not saying it, but we are going to jump in a game real fast. You know who we have on deck for this bad boy? Their countrymen got eliminated before, but they are still here. We got the Aussies on deck. It's Dev Martyr and Mandy with the call.
Thanks very much for the reminder there, Jacob. I had almost gotten over the fact that APAC got slapped silly yesterday, but fortunately for the APAC fans, we had a good game at the start of today, and this is a good game for everybody's standards. It's the French versus the Americans. I'm really excited to see what Space Station can do up against BDS.
Absolutely. I reckon this should be a pretty deep rivalry. EU versus NA. Could you ask for anything more coming into Phase 2? And on Skyscraper, of all things, I really like what Jesse pointed out. This map should be a pretty tight battle between these two. Excellent, very proficient on this map, but very different approaches going into it. I can't wait for the playstyle clash. That's the thing that I'm most looking forward to, and getting into the server is going to be super exciting.
100%, as you said, play styles. Well, we haven't seen BDS play a major all year long, Mandy. They seeded directly into Phase 2, which means we didn't see them in Phase 1 like we saw Space Station. And of course, BDS, the big misnomer for them this year is that they failed to qualify for the Copenhagen Major. As a result, these guys are currently sitting 23rd in the international global standings for Six Invitational. They are not yet qualified. However, they are contending, and they need to have the best run possible to guarantee that they will make it to that Six Invitational in Brazil.
Exciting stuff here for the EU squad in BDS, but the ban phase is going to start to move past us on Skyscraper. Monty to be the first one taken out by Space Station. Interesting. I feel like it does stunt a little bit of that like early game pressure that you get with the Monty being able to drone in and cut down on some, cut down on the drone work rather than actually sending in the drones itself. It does make that entry a little more easier, especially on a map like Skyscraper, where the entry points are not as viable as you'd think on some of the other maps in the pool.
We've already seen Space Station get rid of that Monty in the tournament so far. His army eliminated as well does leave a lot of other powerful operators in. So you talked about the Thatcher, the hard breach enabler. Well, one of the hard breach deniers has been eliminated as well. I really do like that as army ban, but there's a massive slew of very powerful operators still left in the pool as a result.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think taking these army out is important because you don't want to have to deal with that fortress internal of the map. Skyscraper is one of those maps that every single step of the way into the map is difficult. The entry is hard because there are not that many good entry spots. Once you get inside of the building, you get stuck in the chokes, right? And then even come later to the execute, it's then difficult to make that rotation and then translation into the bomb site actually work. And taking out that as army will at least make that mid-round slightly easier.
For Space Station, starting on the defense. First seed out of their group, but not without some form of trouble. They might have taken down Alpha Aetheris 7-3 fairly handily, I admit, and in fact that was on this very map. Of course, their elimination game, or rather their qualification game up against Team Bliss was far more challenging. 8-7, it came down to the very final round on Clubhouse. They only barely made it through here without having to go down into that lower bracket. BDS, on the other hand, what a season they have had, sitting directly into Phase 2 after a phenomenal showing throughout the EU League. Second place overall, a far cry from the 7th and 8th place that they managed in Stage 1.
Big improvements for Team BDS as they're going to take us, well, Space Station are actually going to take us over to T and Karaoke as the first bomb site of choice, and BDS posturing for a sweep across the map. 3 players spawning over on that office side, looking to create a dent into these roamers.
Quite a few roamers that there are. Fenrir has been spotted. That's a very nice drone for Leakofak. Is he able to get a wall bang? He's tempted, but of course there is a very hard bar compromised in that position. Leakofak actually finds faults on the rotation. I believe that was a wall bang. And as a result, BDS have expedited this roam clear.
Great lockdown with the line scan of Renshiro, double down by Leakofak on the entry will open up the round for BDS. Even in the absence of the Monty, the early game still going their way, but they haven't faced the hardest part of this round just yet, and that's going to be this mid round, trying to clear out the shield inside of Shrine, the position that Forest is currently sitting in. Shaiko on the case as it stands with 3 flashbangs in hand, will try to dislodge this player.
Very slow and steady for BDS, it seems, but nothing to worry about as of yet. They've got plenty of time to finish this, and the drones have generated so much information for the attacking side, spotting those dread mines. They even know that this shield position is clear, and Leakofak can move right on up.
Yeah, right. Interesting. The position completely forfeited by Space Station, forcing them to fall back, and Brede as well with his own pick inside of the Geisha. Breach will take down yet another player of Space Station. It's really going to unlock the round here. Having Geisha control now open to Brede, he is going to look in for the side stab in tandem with the teammates coming in from the front push.
Oh, that's a big pick for Shaiko. Almost lost his life, but eventually the trade comes through. Double for Forest. Space Station on their last legs with just 2 players holding on, but J9O, if he lands this kill, he makes it winnable. Though he must do it all himself in a 1 versus 2, 1v3, as Alems is able to be picked up. He can make his rotation, can J9O, but that E1D will lock him in place.
Tough spot now for J9O. No safe place to rotate back up into the 2nd floor. Actually, for a moment there, Renshiro just looking away from the back stairs, but it looks like he's going to round the corner for the peek and get taken down with a nice headshot. BDS with the first round.
Phenomenal start for BDS. Off to a flying roam clear and converting that to perfection. Gotta say, Mandy, how good was that line? Every step of the way, that line was there to enable a collapse for BDS.
Yeah, it was really good. In the absence of the Dokvi ban, Alems as well picking it out does make things a lot easier in that early game once you want to try and go for the roam clear. It also means it's a lot harder for Space Station to fall off because you've got that line scan ringing out. You can't just stand still. That's not exactly how the game works, despite what everybody says on the internet, and the roam clear working really well for BDS. But for me, I think the turning point was really Brede claiming that 2nd kill onto Geisha. That really opened up 2 points of entry that went into the bomb site. And when you're playing on a map like Skyscraper, you really don't want to funnel yourself into the chokes. You want to have a multifaceted push, and that's the key to these attacks.
Yeah, but the hammer and anvil worked to perfection for the French last round. Good to start strong on the attack as well, Mandy. We talk a lot about how this game has leaned itself to the defenders in the more recent meta, because how many good ops are there on defense right now? Like Solus, Mira, both of which are present this round, by the way. The Azamu, who's been banned out. Fenrir, all of these powerful operators completely change the way that the attack has to think about their gameplay, and you simply cannot ban them all.
Yeah, are a lot of strong defenders. It's kind of like assembling the Avengers, if you will. And like, look, you can only ban out 2 of them. That's not even as good as Thanos could do, right? So whatever. Anyway, we're going over to yet another attempt at an attack for BDS. It does seem like, once again, they are looking for a sweep in and across the map. Of course, the entry players of Shaiko and Leakofak are going to double down on that. Meanwhile, on the other side for the defense, like you pointed out early, False is going to be on the Solus, and that means he is going to then tell his team and comment to them exactly what's going on adjacent to the map. And we can see him already in the bar down below, anticipating that roam clear to come through.
Roam clear will be expedited by the Dokkaebi, as you said, from last round. Alems has repicked it. An operator that has seen a lot of bans.
him.
Where is he?
He's underneath the stairs.
Here he is. This could be very dangerous for BDS. However, Likafak once again starts with the flying opener onto Hot and Cold. One of the best players from North America already out of the server, but Fultz is still at large and still somehow hasn't been dromed, unless if Alems is baiting this somehow.
I think he heard it. The logic bomb did ring out, and he must have heard the call going out on the drone, and he sent Likafak in to go hunting. But do they know that Fultz is in behind the bar?
I don't think they're aware of it. That drone has gone past once again. It spotted him. Immediately, the yellow pin comes out. Likafak has this player trapped in a corner, but he doesn't want to take the 1v1. He baits out a separate engagement. Oh, Likafak is insane. It's perfect, but Fultz can bring it back. 1 kill, a second. Might make this round winnable for Space Station, but they triple down. Likafak finds another. Fultz for the trade, but he is so far away from the bomb site, and BDS know exactly where he is. He will have to retake low HP, as Alems can simply slide away back into the darkness, hack cameras, and look for the cover. This will be the round in the bag for BDS.
Really clean stuff there from BDS. Space Station feeling the gravity of Likafak down in the ground floor, sent all their players after him, and well, it didn't quite work out. Likafak very aware that a player could have been pressuring him up all the way through the mezzanine. He turned around, he shot down those players, even under the pressure of taking the 1v1 to Fultz. Some great micro play from him.
Now we have a tactical timeout for SSG. Call out, very well-renowned coach with huge experience and quite a few accolades to his name back on the Astralis days. He's now going to have to whip these guys back into shape.
Just trying to hear of what they're saying.
Bit hard. Very relaxed though, Mandy. That, I think, is a bit of a reflection of something here. SSG have tried 2 times now. Unfortunately, I don't speak French.
No, not quite. I don't speak French either. I did try and have a listen into what they were saying there. I couldn't quite pick it out, to be honest. I don't know if you were able to get anything out of that, but I think the big thing about the Space Station playstyle is that they had the Astralis merger sort of come in, right? And especially with Callout as their coach, Astralis was really that team that I feel like you could make a case sort of pioneered that like very frontline defense, get in their face, make sure that they're uncomfortable through the stages of the attack type of playstyle, especially over in North America. But I think on a map like Skyscraper and against a team like BDS that are so punishing of mistakes, especially positioning-wise, it's important that they have the ability to dial back that frontwards aggression a little bit and make sure that they're on their safe fallout back. And I can only imagine Callout saying, all right, guys, I know that this is your strength, but BDS have got your number. They've got the formula down.
Well, this is the thing. Space Station are a very pacey team in that early round. They love to get in the map quick. We saw that a lot in their Bliss match, where they were even bringing a Maru on some rounds. However, BDS are doing the same thing on their attack, and SSG's defenses seem completely unready for it. Likafak has been straight up farming. And when you've got players like Fultz looking for these really cheeky roams, I guess you could call it a roam. He's sitting on the other side of the map last round underneath the staircase for the whole round. BDS are not going to miss drone that. They're not going to get caught off guard. And even if they do, it's not like it's going to win the round for SSG anyway. So I think we need a real change of pace here and some new ideas for the Americans.
That being said, it actually seems like BDS are the ones to change the pace in this particular round, looking for a more direct attack into the bomb site. 3 players posturing outside of the rappels going into that top floor. Friday, we're on board with right now, is a little stuck on this hard breach spot. He can't really clear the electrification all by himself, and he's going to have to call over either the baby EMPs of Likafak or probably a set of grenades from below, sorry, from Alems. And here he goes. This is Likafak from down below to try and claim any roamers inside the ground floor.
Yeah, and of course, once he's done that, he's got grenades to send up. Here comes the first nade, but there's no information on the back of this. He's not going to send it as of yet. It looks like he's being very cautious. He knows that Space Station are playmakers.
They might be denying the trick here. I think they're trying to make sure that Forrest isn't actually going for the bandit trick onto the geisha wall going exterior, right? And they want to, if they can, land the kill as he's going for the trick, which is probably why Likafak is taking his time here. The grenade doesn't quite sink up through the floor, and instead he's going to claim the space up the back stairs.
Okay, Forrest is on the other side of the map, so a bandit trick is not going to go down. The breach will be enabled here. And on the back of the E1D in goes Alems. He finds one. He gets the double. The round is open for BDS. Space Station once again, the rug ripped from underneath them. 3 rounds in a row now. Space Station have to fight back from a numbers deficit, but Forest, 2 kills with a C4. It's beautiful, but it may well not be enough now. 3 more required. Leakerfact watching the angle, and this guy just doesn't miss. 3 in a round now for the French.
SSG just do not have the read on what BDS were doing there. They really spread themselves thin across the map, anticipating that yet another sweep was going to come through, but BDS were the ones to change the tempo and do something direct. Leakyfact was given all the space down in the ground floor because all the defenders were just in that second floor and spread out horizontally rather than vertically, and SSG still playing what was a very separated game, gave the in to BDS, and what a great entry that was from Alems, caught off guard, off tempo, was able to claim the first 2 and open up the round.
It's funny, Mandy, because to a simple viewer, that looks very basic, right? Alem simply walks in the geisha and kills 2 people that aren't really even looking at him. Like, here's the replay, right? How are these 2 SSG players caught with their pants down?
It makes you wonder. It definitely makes you wonder. But alas, it is aided by the, like, you know, the Doku be cool. I think it is quite a danger for BDS to have it in their hands, especially on Alems, who's been pretty good with it so far in this series. They need to find a way to shut it down.
Well, for Space Station, that was meant to be the medicinal round, right? They had their tactical timeout.
5 seconds left.
That's where you're meant to bounce back. But, alas,
Attacker's
down
objective
3
is to
on your
defuse a bomb.
defense of Skyscraper. It's not a good look. That's the only way to put it. Now, they're going to, once again, bounce back. It's been Tea Room Karaoke, Exhibition Office, Tea Room Karaoke. Now, back to Exhibition Office. Second time could be the charm. But Space Station need to be more cautious than ever about losing these early picks on the roam and about losing the site control if BDS identify a weakness.
I like the idea of Forest jumping onto the mirror here to try and stunt the in onto the bomb site. Last time it felt like BDS have just got such a good grip on the bomb site itself, but Forest, I think picking the mirror up is probably a good idea, especially in the absence of not as much range hard breach. Like, yes, they have Brede on the Selmas, but realistically, he's probably got to use most of those on the exterior walls, right? So I think this is a good pick here for Space Station.
Oh, in went a Candela there for a second, and a smoke, but none of the players from BDS are actually moving in. Could this potentially be a bait to try and force these roamers from SSG back towards the site? However, no bait taken. Completely unfazed. As I say that, Shaiko has snuck his way in here to the top of Shrine. He's playing around this shield. I'm not sure if Fault is aware. He's about to walk straight into his line of sight, and Shaiko finds the opening kill.
And here goes Leaky back as well to unlock the bomb site, coming in through the single housing window. Forest full white, and it's going to see him go in for the entry, but not quite catch the kill.
Okay, so 5v2 now for BDS as they slow down once again. Such a substantial advantage as the young gunner of Ashen must hold on to this site with Forest in tow. They play patiently, and unfortunately for them, that does not work in their favor. Ashen versus 5. Look, mate, if there's ever a time to earn your paycheck, it's right now. But it's simply not going to happen. 4 rounds in a row.
Not a good look so far for Space Station, but really clean stuff for BDS. I think you called it perfectly there in the mid-round. They sent out all the utility into the bomb site to try and pull a reaction for the remaining roamers of Space Station, and it worked to perfection. Shaiko was there for the card to claim the lives of Volt, and by the time that they had the safety margin of the numbers redundancy, they decided to send themselves into the bomb site. Look for that execute, and it was clean as he does it.
Wow, very
Let's detach two, boys. Yeah,
very quiet.
detach two if we can. Go. Let's get these next two, and then we got some shit for attack.
Wow. You know what, Mandy? I never expected that down 0-4, the one player on your team who's been the motivational speaker is your 18-year-old.
Yeah.
How is it that Ashen, in these tight moments, on his major debut, when he's only been playing professionally for, what, a month since he turned 18, he is the one saying, it's okay, guys. We just need to get these 2 more rounds.
10 seconds to go.
Next 2 rounds, and then we can come back in the second half. It's fine. That
5
is
seconds
crazy when you've got players like Hot and Cold, even Fault's like world champion. They're
Attackers are
quiet.
moving to defuse the
Ashton is
bomb.
picking them up.
I really do admire Ashen. I think he's got a lot of energy that he's injected into this team, and energy is sometimes what you need, especially in this LAN environment. That being said, I think that as we've played this major, I think the inexperience has definitely hit him a little bit with some of his performances, and as he starts to find his groove into the server, you can only hope that that energy translates into performance soon.
Very early Dokkaebi call and a very early E1D. I think BDS is just toying with them. I don't even know if they're actioning. Oh, okay, here we go. They are indeed. They've taken a lot of map control very quickly on the back of that universal global utility. And now they're ready to get to work. Look at this, 40 seconds into the round. Leak-of-Fac, blowtorch in pocket, ready to open up some holes into Geisha.
Cheeky moves from Leak-of-Fac. He's not doing it straight away because you don't want to create that line of sight then going into drum for the defenders, because that can be dangerous for the push, especially if you're going for something linear like this. So what he's waiting for is, first of all, this breach to come down from BDS. That's going to lock out some of Geisha. And then I can think probably at least a line scan as well to then lock in the defense as they try and go for these picks.
Forrest already using one of his gas bays with 1:45 left still on the clock. Trying to keep BDS at bay for just a moment, but this game is tense. Spacestation have really been shafted onto the back foot.
This is where BDS can sort of make a decision here, right? The bomb site is the ground floor. So if they want to, they can try and hit the ground floor and make that translation work early, or they can dedicate themselves to clearing out through the top floor. Now, they don't really have vertical. So if they just want to hold on to the retake coming in through the top floor and then go and hit the bottom floor instead, all that BDS needs to do is make sure that no one's on this hatch. And that's where J9O is right now. They could hit the bomb site if they wanted to.
The Dreadmine was activated for a brief moment. The Dokkaebi call has come through. Oh, Forrest has been revived, fortunately, so Space Station is still holding on here. BDS have stalled out as Leak-of-Fac looks to open up. Angles onto gold. Shaiko times his peak perfectly and takes down Hot and Cold. That is exactly the opening BDS have been looking for.
And the crossfire absent from Space Station as well. No trade to come out. Shaiko just goes in and gets straight out. J9O as well, feeling the pressure of the Geisha balcony outside, is in a bit of a pickle right now as they start to collapse onto that top floor, and Volt is going to be taken down for a third.
This mini execute has worked out for Space Station as Fultz finally goes down. He found one, but it may not be enough. Ashen, though, with the Echo, he's the perfect operator to win this in the late round, right around the corner. You've got to land these shots, Ashen, and he does. Leak-of-Fac goes down, 3 players up, still for BDS, but that timer is ticking away. BDS needs to jump into this window. Barbed wire to get through. The sound cue has been made. He rounds the corner. He takes the fight. Ashen must clutch. There's no time. BDS must stick it, but Alems has got him covered. 5 rounds in a row for BDS.
And on their attacking half, nonetheless, this is not something that we'd expect going into the nature of Skyscraper. Typically such a defender-sided map in 2023. I believe the second most defender-sided map in the map pool at the moment globally. That is some impressive stuff from BDS.
Bring a side shot at least. Yeah, you got one.
We'll play like on the top black side.
Well, you wouldn't think they were 5-0 down. I'll give them that. They don't sound too upset, but you can't deny it. This is just about as low energy as you ever see SSG. Down 0-5. In contrast, have a look at BDS. Allez, I guess.
Different levels of energy for certain between these two teams for sure. I mean, Space Station, you really don't want to put yourselves out of it, and they're a team that know how to keep themselves in it mentally. We were speaking about Ashen just earlier, but I feel like really any of these players could do it. So they're going to have another crack at a defense, and it's going to be back over inside of Karaoke and T. Now just in that prep phase going in, we did hear Hot and Cold have a quick chat about a utility setup on the back stairs, so it does seem like this time they are in anticipation of a direct take, and Ashen was very aware of that, knowing that there could be players spawning closer in towards the bomb site, also spotting a player out on the balcony repel as well. He is going to now com that to his team and say, guys, they're having a think about the bomb site, maybe come back, but there goes Leak-of-Fac once again on the early entry.
Oh, Ashen's played this perfectly. That is how you use Solus, ladies and gentlemen. He got the info he needed and he used it to get a kill. Elsewhere, there has been another pick for Space Station, despite Leak-Effect finding the opener for BDS. So SSG, for the first time in this game, have a numbers advantage.
Really solid work there from J90 as well, realizing that Brede was going to work the Geisha wall all solo, all on his own. He actually chose to keep that soft, have a rotation hold in to then go and take the 1v1 gamble gunfight onto him. And now that's going to take away the only, oh no, not the only hard breach they had. It was actually a Lems that played that instead. So they do still have Brede on the hard breach, but taking down the baby EMPs is going to make things a little bit more tricky come the execute.
Leak-Effect versus J90. Here in drum, J90 decides to fall back and looks to try and support his teammate. Oh, careful! Oh, no care needed, not a care in the world. Leak-Effect goes down. Space Station have their first massive chance here. And Renshi, okay, he might try and stop it. He will get traded. Brede against 3. And it looks like Space Station have stemmed the bleeding for now.
Very nice start from Space Station, playing a much more close-knit game, actually denying BDS in on the early entry from the 2 players of Ashen and J90. Really unlocked the round for these guys. It's Brede all alone in a 1 versus 3, but all the players of Space Station playing pretty far apart. They're really not giving him anything.
He's actually just gone and dropped the diffuser down. Ashen will be able to see that. This is a bait from Brede. He's trying to bait Ashen, and he's done it perfectly, Ashen, though. He reads it. And finally, the first round for SSG.
Let's go faster. We're going to beat these guys before the late, sure? Hey, listen, identify if the fastest are working. Let's not do it straight in 2 rounds. Do it 1 round, all right?
Interesting. So Forrest immediately saying, okay, we're on the attack now, let's set the tempo. We want to go in fast, and that's where Hot and Cold is going to come in as that flex player, the one comfortable on the Nook, the Amaru.
We're setting the tone, bro.
There you go, he said it. He said it on straight off, Frozen as well, yeah. Set the tone. That's exactly what you want to do against BDS. Try and punish them for wherever they might be in through the map, catch them off, surprise them, and that's why you have the strength of Hot and Cold on players like Ashen to really create space for those plays to work. You know, when you're the entry on Ashen, it's not always your job, you know, to actually then like go in and I don't know, like always be the one getting the entry kill. What you really want to be doing as the entry is making noise and getting your boots in the building, because that creates space for your playmakers like Forrest and like Hot and Cold, your flex players, to then get in somewhere else on the map. You want to pull a reaction from BDS, and that is the strength of Ashen as the entry. And that's the point in that injecting playstyle that Space Station want to bring here on the attack.
Well, Ashen has big shoes to fill after Leak-Effect's very heavy first half on that Ash. If anyone on Space Station is looking for quick entries, they will have to live up to what the Frenchman on the other side could do in the first. But having a look at this lineup, Mandy, I think Space Station weren't kidding when they said, let's go hard, let's go fast.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a direct hit onto the bomb site. Typically, when we see that Sens pick out, it is utilized within the hallway between the 2 bomb sites to sort of segment out one bomb site over the other and then go and hit one of them. It's typically Karaoke to follow in after that, and it seems like Forrest is ready for that entry to happen.
He's hiding his Blitz shield as well from any potential Solus on the other side by keeping it on his back. Otherwise, the Solus would see it. Now, BDS don't have a Solus, but they do have a Legion. They have 2 sets of impact grenades. They have a Capcan and a C4, plus the Ella. Like, this is all fantastic counters to this Blitz.
No, but that's what Ashen was doing on the Twitch stream just earlier. He cleared the way now for Forrest as he makes his way in.
Forrest must win this one, but there's good cover. Oh no, the Sens gadget did not support well enough. Ashen traded as he jumps in Shine to get a kill back for his team. But regardless, numbers deficit still weighs heavy on Space Station's shoulders as this execute has failed, and they will need to look for an alternate option.
They played straight into the hands of the BDS defense. There really wasn't that much of an extension over horizontally, but a massive setup going into the backstairs. There was shield, an Ella mine, Legion mines, Capcan traps, whatever you name it, all the utility was on the one door that Forrest was trying to enter in on. They completely played into the defense just then, and now they need to consider their other options.
Well, it's as if BDS knew exactly the strat that Space Station were going to go for even before SSG did. Having that level of setup, like, you just look at the number of traps on the board, all of these counter blitz, all of these counter rushes, the Legion technically even counters the Finker, for goodness sake. You've got the Warden to deal with the blitz as well. You've got a shield at the top of the stairs. BDS could not be more prepared for the kind of push that SSG decided to make.
Here goes Hot and Cold in through the sweep across the map, instead having forfeited the direct attack into the bomb site. But not a lot of time. 50 seconds left to make their way in through Shine, and the rest of BDS have fallen back to the safety of the bomb site.
Still tempted to go for some peeks here at BDS. Not sure who that is in Geisha. Oh, this is nice from Leakafak.
Do it.
Pre-rip C4.
Oh, need to do it.
Shaco with the wall bang. That'll get the first. Leakafak gets the second. The final one to fall will be J90 unless he pulls off a clutch, but I simply do not think it's possible. Bit of hard breach. Might give him another angle. But this crossfire is too powerful to overcome. J90 moving on forward. Rifle in hand, staring straight down the barrel. Looking for a few players to take down. 15 seconds to go, but that crossfire is simply too good to beat. BDS have match point in their hands.
BDS just looks so comfortable right now, both on the attack and on the defense. SSG had no answer to the defense that BDS brought. It just felt like SSG, they had their own agenda and they wanted to do it. And they didn't think about what BDS could have brought to the table as well. And I think that was a fatal mistake. And generally, I would say, is a fatal mistake in the SSG calling and the SSG playstyle, is that because they have their one way of playing the game, they don't really have this anti-IGLing capacity, not nearly as strong as a team like BDS is.
Listen, if we see the roamer, bro, let's jump the star right now. Like, their side set's gonna be kind of like cracked right now. It's gonna be really stacked. Let's get these solo picture now. Like, there's dudes are trying to flank. It's just a dumb roamer. Let's crank them, bro.
Wow. How many words per minute do you think he was saying just then?
A lot of words per minute. See, you think as casters that we say a lot of words per minute, but these guys, they speak good word.
Yeah, he was talking very fast. I mean, I'll be the critic here, Mandy. I don't think he was necessarily saying things well. I think I heard like anxiety and stress in his voice, and I don't blame him. I'm not sure who, was it Ashen speaking just then? I couldn't quite tell. I didn't see whose mouth was moving. But yeah, it's crazy, right? SSG, they're renowned for being this high energy team. You look them doing their hoorahs before the game starts. They get into the server, they perform like this, and suddenly they're as passive as you would expect out of a bunch of rookies. And they really aren't. In fact, the one who is the least passive and the most vocal is the rookie himself.
BDS on the flip side, though, staring at match point at the moment to send themselves closer to the stage. Here goes Bride on his attempt at a trick, and it's very successful. Easy as you does it. And Faults on the other side. It's not going to be feeling too good about that one. When you have the baby EMPs in your hands, it can be a little bit tricky to play the trick game, and instead Forest is going to double down with a grenade from below. Bride as well has moved over his electro, what are they called? Bandit batteries over onto the main wall, instead having tricked that one. So I think fair time wasted, honestly, in the hands of BDS.
Fair time and fair util. Like, that took an extra nade and an extra EMP because of Space Station's carelessness at looking to open that wall. BDS looking patient, but also looking for opportunities, and Shaco takes down Ashen. He might have been vocal this game, but that's all he can do now in this round. Talk to his teammates.
SSG now pivoting for a sweep across the map, realizing that they really don't have a lot more going for them if they want to direct hit the bomb site. There's not a whole lot of hard breach that they have got going anymore, especially with Bride looking for the trick onto the wall, and so they're going to go for a sweep as well. Nice grenade from Hot and Cod, shot onto Leakafak. Will take down at least one of these defenders and open up the ground floor for them to send in the remaining 2 grenades from below.
Oh, it's a good start, isn't it, Mandy? 4v4 is very doable. That said, there's a damn fortress of a setup here on the site and adjacent to the site. Renshiro playing this position in Dragon. Not only can he hide behind the Dragon, but he's got a shield to support him, and he's a Wamai, so he can continually generate these discs to help him on out. He's also on solid floor, so while we do have Hot and Cold down below with 1 nade in pocket, Forest as well, they're not going to be able to use that to displace this Dragon player.
Oh, the defense knows. They definitely know the presence that's gone on down on the ground floor, and they're actually standing on the tables to avoid the grenades being sent up. This is the second and last one from Forest, so there's no more grenade pressure from down below. I don't think that they've got the main breach open either. Bride's just electrified it, and they can't deal with it anymore because J90 has no more mini EMPs. This is doomed for Space Station in the last 30 seconds as they have to funnel in onto the bomb site.
Hot and Cold can't find his man, but J90 finds his. Hot and Cold eventually traded on back. Good crossfire. Shaco, triple kill. J90 steps up. Shaco will need the ace. Low HP, but Jano spray through the wall, gets Space Station their second.
I cannot believe that they landed that execute. Nothing went right for them going in onto the bomb site. The only thing that they were able to do come the last 30 seconds of the round was brute force into the bomb site. And even though Shaiko was good for 3, somehow the sweep across the map from Dragon and from Terrace worked in the hands of Space Station Gaming. They proved to us that in the dying seconds of the round, sometimes you just need to gun them down.
The magic that we saw from Space Station in play-ins against both Alpha Artheris and Bliss was that even in those late rounds, when they're at a deficit, they have this magical ability to jump in, start winning some 3v5s, some 1v1s, and bring back unwinnable rounds. Now, that is the first time in this match we've seen it from SSG.
That's a nice shot from J9. Oh man, a nice 2 shots from J9. Really solid entry coming in from bottom main. You never would have thought that he would have been able to creep into the bomb site like that, but he did. And the Space Station are one of those teams that are so good at doing things all together and at the same time. I guess that's Rainbow Six and the meta in general. Can you do things all together and at the same time, right? That is really the telltale.
It is, yeah. There's so much to think about, especially when we're playing a game like this against a team like BDS, who have been so organized and so prepared for everything that Space Station have brought to the table, whether it's hiding on defense, whether it's playing fast and aggro on attack. But SSG do have a lifeline here.
BDS gonna flip the bomb site as well. Not a reattempt over onto office, but instead they're gonna send us down into the ground floor. Over inside of kitchen and barbecue. Ashen, meanwhile, on the Ying is going to think about disrupting the bomb site directly. Meanwhile, the rest of the players are opening up some of their other options. Faults, he's got a cam across on the other side of the map, preparing for a sweep, and getting that early pressure down onto Geisha.
Mine active and ready.
Okay, here we go. Mini EMP. Exothermic. Boom. Hole opened. But Shaiko peeks it straight away and takes down Faults. Shaiko's been insane. 10 kills so far this game.
Yeah, Shaiko has been absolutely on it. He's got the tingle, you know, like we watched the kill that he had onto Ashen. He just like knew that someone was out there.
Every now and then you have a game where you're like, I just know I'm going to win this fight. I can't explain it. I just know I'm going to win this fight.
That's Shaiko every game, is what you're trying to say. Anyway, here goes Forest on the Nook, creeping his way in. Trying to catch Renshiro off guard, but it seems like Renshiro is keyed into the sweep across the map.
These castle barricades are forcing Space Station to telegraph any push or lurk that they intend to achieve. And that means that the top back stairs door is still secured. Forest now going for a rotation. Here's another castle barricade, preventing the rotate out of reception towards restaurant, which secures so many more of these defenders for BDS.
SSG are having a really long thinking phase here. They really don't know if they want to hit the top floor, go for a mini execute, or hit the bomb site. Now, with J90 rotating the diffuser over all the way onto the kitchen balcony, it does make me think that off the back of some of Ashen's utility, maybe they're going to try and do a mini execute in through the top floor. The breach is open into Geisha as well, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
Here it comes. We saw this from BDS. Let's see if SSG can do the thing the same, but better. Forest finds the opening kill. One of the first for SSG in this game. J90 misses his opportunity. But now there is still a shot here. Ashen's found a Lems, pushing into the site. Leakafact finds his trade and his 10th kill of the game. The diffuser is being planted under the cover of that logic bomb, and J90 looks like he will secure it. Forest to cover, and BDS forced to retake, but Leakafact lands another nutty shot. Hot and cold, 1 kill to his name in this match, but he'll need to find 3 more. He finds nothing at all. BDS take it. 7-2.
And in such dominant fashion as well. 7-2 scoreline. That is nothing to laugh at. And a phase 2 matchup between 2 titans of the region. BDS, they're coming back strong in phase 2.
They certainly are. The 6th Invitational is waiting in February, and they are not yet qualified. They will need to keep this up to secure their place in Brazil. And of course, to secure what they believe is rightfully theirs. It was a year ago they won in Jönköping. And, well, perhaps now in Atlanta, this could be a chance for them to do the same.
Absolutely. If you want to watch some beautiful Siege, you roll a BDS squad. And I think they showed us exactly that in this game. I'm really looking forward to them hopefully being on the stage. They just need to win out 2 more matches after this if they want to secure their place there.
It has been a long time since BDS have played on the main stage. Think back to Yonchaping. They were the champions. And now they're showing a similar form here. 7-2, Liquefax in form. Shaco's as good as ever. And the rest of the team is, of course, there to support. They're looking so relaxed, so keen. Eagle Me is perhaps the most stressed of the lot as he takes a huge sigh of relief. But on the flip side, Spacestation have a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, it just felt like BDS was so prepared for what Spacestation brought. They had this really great, close, tight-knit playstyle, and there was no way that Spacestation with their injection playstyle was going to be able to disrupt that. And I think that, you know, BDS, they just, honestly, I feel like they had a grip of that game that was like an iron fist. There was no way they were letting go.
A stellar start for the major, for BDS. Let's go over to the desk and have an interview with the Lems.
It's been a phenomenally fast day so far. Thank you, gentlemen, for getting us through that one. And I'm here with the Lens from BDS. Dude, every single game so far has been really quick. So thank you for perpetuating that stereotype. Talk to me about Skyscraper, man. What did you see that was so easy to beat Spacestation on?
To be honest, we didn't expect that map.
You didn't expect it?
The thing is, like, we saw that they play Skyscraper, but they don't play they didn't play very good teams on it. So when they didn't ban it on the Veto and we ended up on Sky, we were a bit surprised because this is not the map we prepared the most, to be honest. But when we see it, we were like, okay, it's statistically our best map, one of our best maps. So, I mean, let's be confident and let's do everything to win it. When they choose the defense side as well, we were pretty confident on attack because we lack attack on that map. And I mean, yeah, it went smooth. I think we start very hard, and they couldn't follow the rhythm that we put on them on attacks. And at the end, they tried to be a bit aggressive, but a bit too late, I think.
For sure. So my question to you is, so you guys won Gamers 8, you played against M80, they were a very aggressive team. Did you see this kind of same aggression from Spacestation, and did you take from that M80 game to kind of like, you know, incorporate that into your guys' play style of how to counter aggressive play style? So now going against SSG, like, is that something that kind of you took from that game and applied it here, or what does that look like? Like, how do you prepare for aggressive teams?
So yeah, when we play NA teams in general, in defense they are very aggressive. In NA there is a lot of very good players that can make the difference. So you have to be ready for it. When we played M80, like you said it in the finals of Gamers 8, we knew that they're going to pick us on defense, being very aggressive. So we kinda work on something to try to counter them, like you said. And seeing like we were playing SSG, it's kinda the Astralis roster, if I make sense. So we are ready for those aggression with G9 and for us who are very talented former Astralis player.
Right.
So yeah, we're ready for it. We expected it, and yeah, it was smooth, I think.
No, I mean, well, you played great. You've been very consistent across the board. Even playing against you back when we played. I mean, you've always been a standout player on your team. I mean, what's it like playing with this 5? Like, what fires you up to also fire them up?
To be honest, like I'm playing with those guys since a long time, except maybe Liquefax who joined last year.
Well, he's a great pickup, so I mean, you guys obviously know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's more that we are playing together since a long time, so we know each other very well. We know our forces, we know our strengths, and we know our weakness, obviously. So it's very easy now that we know each other for a long time to correct everything and to talk and to trust the people you play with. It's very important. And everyone has things to do in the team, like a role. And when everyone is respecting it, it's going smooth like today.
Spacestation had a couple of days to get prepped, and they had a couple matches to play prior to this. You guys came in cold, obviously scrims right beforehand. Was that at all a concern for you guys coming in, having not played a game that Spacestation already had?
To be honest, in my mind, like personally, I was a bit worried at the start because I was like, oh my god, they are here for 3 days already. They played here already. They have like the feeling of the room or the setup or anything. So I was a bit concerned about it, but at the end of the day, it's a siege match. Like you just have to show up, and that's it.
See, I love that you say that because I talked about it. Teams coming in cold versus teams coming in hot. Some players, like you were saying yourself, you know, you like to get those reps in, whereas some players, you know, would rather just chill, hang out. But I mean, like you said it, the biggest thing is when you go into that game, you're mentally prepared. You guys are all making those adaptations. You're communicating, whatever that looks like, and you guys did it in style.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the fans before I let you go?
Yeah, thanks to all the fans that are supporting us. Thanks to all the people. Thank you for the interview as well and the casting crew. I don't think it's you, but thanks for the casting crew as well that commentating the match. And can I say quickly in French?
Go ahead.
Merci à tous ceux qui nous soutiennent, merci infiniment. On est en 1-0 et on va tout faire pour se qualifier pour les quarts de finale, vous rendre fiers. Merci à tous, BDS Power.
All right, thanks
Did
a
you
lot.
say you love me?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it come back.
All right, thanks, brother. Congrats on the win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
And
you.
as far as BDS is concerned, again, they'll have to wait a little bit to figure out where they're going to be playing specifically tomorrow. But Jesse, you got something at the breakdown for us, right?
Yes, I do, Jacob. I have a highlight here, a breakdown of one of the most crucial parts of this game. BDS had a single thing that really allowed them to dominate the east side of this map, and that was this thing right here. The drone inside of Exhibition, initially played by Bride, was fantastic, and it allowed them to take so much space. This is the very first round, and I want you to showcase, or I want you to see how this drone gets so much value, okay? First of all, it's in behind the bonsai tree. This is right at the start of the round. It sees hot and cold, and we see how this can actually convert into a really quick roam clear. Boom! Right there, immediately, what are we seeing? We're seeing Lickyfack go through the soft wall, get a wall bang on a faults, absolutely destroy him, make it so solid to be able to take him out. Now this drone, they used 5 out of 6 rounds on the side of BDS. Not once did it get spotted. Let's showcase a little bit more. I want to show how this gets set up in particular. So Bride, he's watching around, right? A lot of people in ranked, they will just send their drone into sight. They want to get into this position. They're saying, let's do it, let's go, let's go, let's go, right at the start of the round. But Bride, what he's doing is he's watching for players. He sees the Legion. He knows when he can get sneaky. The Bandit's setting up a battery. That's when he makes it in, and that's when he makes the play. And there is a Solus on the board from Faults, but it's across the map. BDS have VOD reviewed this, and they realize what the Solus is doing and how they're going to be able to shut that down. Now, they use that again through 5 of the 6th rounds. In this final round, they actually make a small adaptation. Bride decides, I don't want to be behind the bonsai tree anymore. I'm going to move to the chair. And they get value out of this big time. Fast forward, same round, 20 seconds in, 12 seconds, even they're so close to the start of the round, and Forrest is going for a spawn peek. Keep in mind, the drone's still on the chair. It's watching for him. I bet you can predict exactly how the spawn peek goes for Forrest. Slammed! Not even close. Absolutely obliterated, and it's all because of this drone right here. The droning coming through from Bride was absolutely crucial in BDS's control of Exhibition. It was never spotted. Spacestation, if you're watching this, you gotta look for that next time. But that's been the breakdown. We have so many more games to enjoy here in Atlanta. So we're gonna go over to a quick break, and when we come back, we're watching Geeky versus W7M.